Well, everybody, welcome back to the Trig Podcast of Joy and Gozo TV on this lovely Thursday morning, November 14th, 2019. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this video. Talking today about how to find a soulmate. How to find a soulmate. I was talking to one of my clients, a young person who I coach and I talk to, and I was talking to her about dating, relationships, and getting with the wrong person, and yet feeling comfortable with that relationship, even though it isn't the ideal relationship. And so it got me thinking about how common this is, that you find yourself in a situation that even though it's not ideal, that you sort of maybe you kind of you blend into it, or you default into it, or you get used to it. And how to get out of that, how to find the soulmate, because as we were talking, I realized that what she really needed, and this is what eventually came out, is she wants to find a soulmate. So let's define, first of all, what is a soulmate, and then I want to give you some tips on how to find this person. So I always go back to Genesis chapter 1 and 2. When God creates Adam and Eve, man and woman, he says something really powerful. He says, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a suitable partner." And then, of course, we have the verse where God creates Eve, or the woman, out of the man's ribs. And then he says, or the man now says to Eve, "This is now flesh of my flesh, bones of my bones. I will call her woman," or Eve. And so there's this union that happens from the beginning of time and in the creation story, between the need for a man and a woman to be united. And then another verse in the Bible that I love, in that same passage, it says that both the man and the woman were naked and unashamed. So now you introduce even some feelings and some even maybe sexuality. You introduce this sense of oneness and of honesty, vulnerability. And so from that passage, I draw a lot of good conclusions and tips that I think can help you find your soulmate. So, well, let me actually go back and just finish my thoughts. So a soulmate, you could say, is someone like Adam and Eve. Or when you find your soulmate, it means that you have found this perfect union with another person with whom you can share anything and everything authentically, mind, body, and soul. And that also, they almost feel like they were a part of you even before you met them. They almost feel like they were inside of you, or they are you in some shape or form, some shape or fashion. And I'll explain what I mean by these things. So number one, the first tip on how to find your soulmate is to eliminate the current relationship if they are not your soulmate. So maybe putting it differently, is evaluate your current relationship. Now, I'm assuming that you're a young adult. I coach a lot of young adults, mostly young adults who are single. They could be in a relationship, or they may not be. Now, this also goes for you if you're married, but obviously it'll be a little bit different. But assuming that you are a young person and you're single, okay, so evaluate your current relationship. So you first have to get honest about who you are dating and who you're with. So as I coached my client the other day, it was clear to her, and to me as well, that she was with the wrong person. But there was this level of comfort and of ease. And as she was telling me, it just takes too much effort to go and find someone else. And it's easier to just stay with the wrong person. And so you have to be honest about how you really feel about your current relationship. So ask yourself, do I connect with him or her at the level of my mind? Does this person match me mentally? Do we think alike? Do we have the same goals? Do we have the same attitudes about whether it's career or relationships or money or faith? You want to ask, do I connect with this person spiritually? And I don't mean just having the same faith, which I think is the foundation. So first of all, you want to ask yourself, is this person, if you are a person who is a Christian, you want to ask yourself, is this person a follower of Jesus? And you have a million ways you can evaluate that. I think the simplest way is, do they go to church? Do they talk about God and faith and prayer and Bible study? And do they show the evidence of being a Christian person? But I think spirit is more than just a religion or a belief system. You also, when you evaluate the person's spirit or your connection to them spiritually, is you also want to look at things like the fruits of the Spirit. What I mean is, are they kind like you? Do they have similar fruits like the things that you value? If you value kindness and you are with someone who values being raw and being very, even maybe a little bit violent or aggressive or maybe too honest, then you're going to have to evaluate, what does this mean? Is this a balance to me? Or is this something that is going against your values? So a spiritual fit is more than just faith or religion or going to church. I think that's the foundation, but it also deals with your character. And then the last thing is, in terms of this connection or evaluating your current relationship, is your mind, your spirit, and your soul, your body. What I mean by now, your body, or kind of just your whole soul, I guess we could call it, your whole being, is your aspirations. Your aspirations have to be in alignment. If one person wants to live in the country, the other one loves to be in the city, you're going to have some problems there. If one person values making money and the other one resists money and any talk about that, you're going to have some issues to work through. So you want to talk about values and about the way you view life. And of course, the big ones are sex, children, money, maybe even parents or parenting, or your in-laws, you could say, your culture. Those are the 3-4 big ones that you want to talk through from the beginning. And I can give you some examples on a different course or video on how to actually talk with your partner about those specific things. So that's number one. Okay, we're talking about how to find your soulmates. Number one is evaluate your current relationship. Number two is to then evaluate your level of willingness to leave that relationship or to improve your current relationship. So you have to, at some point, be very honest and ask yourself, do I want to improve this relationship? Do I want to do anything about my current situation? As I was saying earlier, one of my clients, she's just saying to me very honestly, I don't really want to do anything about this. I'm okay with this relationship not working. It's comfortable. It sort of works for me. And maybe we'll just see what happens. So you have to kind of, as they say, you have to gauge your level of discomfort or pain. Maybe you're not at that pain point to want to do anything about your relationship. You're still making it work. Evaluate. So here's a practical way to do that. On a scale from 1 to 10, how fed up are you with your current relationship? Or maybe putting it in a positive way, how ready are you to improve your relationship with that person? Are you at a 5? Are you at a 2? You're like, Are you at an 8 or a 9? Is the shoe now not fitting? Is the belt now tight around your waist to the point that you're saying, this is enough is enough. I'm done with this. I want to do and fix something. Now, a lot of times there's a crisis that enters a relationship that makes you want to fix it, an affair or infidelity, or someone is pressuring you into having sex if you're single, or they want to move to another part of the country and you don't, or maybe something with your parents isn't quite going well. And so normally there's some sort of trigger that causes a relationship to go through some difficulty, which can be a good thing, and it causes you to evaluate your relationship and your desire to make it work. And then third, this is, I think, maybe the one that is ignored a lot, is to ask trusted friends to evaluate your relationship. It's to ask your parents, a trusted mentor, a pastor, a life coach, or a therapist, to look into your relationship and give you their honest opinion. Now, I wouldn't ask this of any random person at Whole Foods or at the mall or online, but certainly of someone who you trust. And so here's a quick way to do that. You can say, hello, Mom. You've seen me. I've been hanging out with George here. And I want to kind of talk to you about where is this going. Do you think, Mom, that my relationship with George has a future? Do you think that I'm happy? Does it look to you like he loves me? Now, these are very honest questions that most of us don't like to ask. But the minute that you open that door, guess what? It helps you evaluate your own relationship. It helps you answer your own questions. Now, if that person says, well, I'm not sure about that, about George, he kind of this and he kind of that, or maybe they say, oh yeah, no problem, whatever you want. If they are sort of kind of nebulous, then that means that perhaps you're not being honest, or they don't know. Maybe they don't even know this person. They don't know George. So that means you have to work on bringing that person, your parent, into the relationship a little bit more. Now, if they give you some positive feedback, like, oh yeah, he's great, he cares for you, it seems like you're really happy, then that means a lot. That means you're on the right track. Be thankful. Thank God for that. And now maybe it's time for you to do something about this, right? Now, if your parent says, no, I don't think that person is the right person. Now, this is where most young people will kind of reject that. They'll say, oh, you don't understand him, and you have all these excuses, right? I wouldn't do that so quickly. I don't mean that you have to do whatever your parents say. I mean, yes, listen to your parents, obviously. But what I mean is, if they have some concerns, is write down the specific things that they're concerned about. So, for example, they say, I don't think, does George have a job? Now, instead of you defending that, oh, well, he's still in school or he's been trying, instead of you going into all the excuses, think more rationally on your own and wonder, I wonder how much money does George make per month? Now, if he's living at home or with his parents or whatever, it doesn't matter. You still need to think about, have we talked about money? Maybe the feedback, your mom's negative, let's say, feedback, or her question about George's income, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. In fact, it might be a good thing, a topic of conversation between you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend. It's a good opportunity for you to say, can we talk about money? Like, how is your job going? How much money are you making? Are you happy with your financial goals? How's school going? And of course, don't just interrogate your partner. Be honest yourself about your own financial goals. Because as I said earlier, you might find out that you have very similar goals. You both want to make $100,000, or you both want to graduate from college and get a master's degree, or you both want to go work at the local car dealer or at the local grocery store. It would be an opportunity for you to discover your values in terms of finances or children or sexuality and these very important topics. So ask that mentor for input, and don't be so quick to dismiss it. You don't have to, as I said, also, you don't have to do whatever someone else tells you. Think about what is going on behind that question. What is going on behind the observation? So maybe one last example, if let's say your dad says to you, let's say you're the young lady, and he says to you, well, let me actually put it the other way. Let's say it's your dad with you as a son. Okay. So then your dad would say to you, the son, let's say your name is Miguel. Miguel, Do you feel like she has the same values that you have? Let's say your dad is concerned about faith issues, that you may not have the same faith background or the same faith goals. So your dad may ask you, tell me more about her religious background. So instead of you again getting defensive or thinking that your dad is being negative or doesn't love you or your girlfriend, instead take that time to evaluate. First, how important is faith to you? How important is that connection between you and God? And if it's very important, let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, it's a 10, then I'm not suggesting go rate your girlfriend, but I'm just saying, think about what does it mean to have similar spiritual goals? Think about what do you want out of that relationship? Does it matter to you that you and your girlfriend go to church together or serve in a youth group together or go to mission trips together or pray together? What does it mean to have you and your partner have a spiritual foundation or a similar spiritual foundation? So asking kind of what's going on behind the scenes can be a very important exercise and practice, especially when it comes to those big issues of faith, finances, sex, and of course of your future, or your mindset, your goals, your dreams. Now, let me say one last thing regarding sexuality and sex. This is a whole different video that I want to do, and I actually, as part of my young adult bootcamp basics program, I talk about the need to be open about sexual desires and sexual drives, both for men and women. But I'll just give you a quick, I guess, tip on this, a quick hint. It's important that you have two sides to this conversation. One side that is private and one side that is public. And so there are some things in sexual behavior and sexuality in a relationship of just people that are dating that really should be private. You shouldn't talk about everything that you see or you feel or you want. There are some things that need to be reserved for counseling or for you talking to a life coach together with, or to wait until you're actually getting ready to be married and you have a therapist or a counselor who is coaching you months before you get married. Now, if you are engaged in sexual behavior with your partner, then there are some public things that you should consider. You should discuss, how do we feel about this? Are we giving anyone access into our sexual lives? Meaning, are we being honest with anyone about our needs and struggles or our desires or our behavior? All these things are very important. So you have to have these two sides to the same coin. This private part that really should be saved for marriage, and then this public part, or maybe this more open part of your relationship where you are conversing, talking, reading books, perhaps having a coach or a mentor speak into your life before it's too late, before things just sort of happen and you're pregnant or you're feeling ashamed or pressured, or as the man you're feeling confused or that kind of thing. So that whole area of sexual needs and sexual drive is very important. And as I said, I have that video. I think it's course number 3 of my young adult basics bootcamp video course that you can check out at davidtrig.com/free coaching, davidtrig.com/free coaching. So I think this whole idea of finding a soulmate is so huge. I mean, it's so important. My wife and I have been married now almost 25 years next year. Unbelievable. The silver wedding. I know we got married when we were 12. And we have learned a lot. And without a doubt, I think only second to our faith in Jesus Christ, knowing that my wife is my soulmate and I am hers, is the reason why I'm here dressed, fully clothed and fully alive and have all the wonderful blessings and success that I've had in my life is because of having married my soulmate. And so I encourage you to pursue that person, to evaluate your current relationship, to be honest about where you're at, and to gauge how willing are you, how ready are you to do something about your relationship and to move towards finding that woman or man of your dreams, or as I've been saying, finding your soulmate, or as we like to call it here, a person of gozo, of joy. So I want to encourage you, reach out to someone who can be a coach in your life, a mentor who can guide you through some of these very important issues. And if you would like to receive my training, you can just visit the website here at the bottom of this video, davidtrig.com/free coaching, davidtrig.com/free coaching. And I have a 4-part young adult basics bootcamp course, an online course that I am offering. And if you sign up before December 15th, so that's about 3 weeks here before, or 4 weeks from now. So right after Black Friday and all that stuff, right before Christmas, if you sign up before then, you will actually get a discount. And there's a code that you can look for at this link so you can check out the offer that I have here for the holiday season. My prayer for you today is that you will know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you deserve the very best, that God wants to bring you to that soulmate that will partner with you to make God's kingdom greater, that will bring you happiness, that will bring you stability, and that will most of all bring you, someone's out there, better go get the door, that will bring you gozo and will bring you joy. Thanks so much for watching. I better go. I will see you next time. Adios.